trusted. And then proceeding on, I was molested by an uncle through marriage, and it really shattered my perspective further on males growing up around a father who was very abusive towards my mother. So I do know that for a long time, it took me a while to have a more open mind when it comes to males. And then going through abusive situations with females made me understand that it doesn't just come from males, but it comes from some females as well, and that all males are not that way, because I've met people along the way that strive to be decent males and females. So that balance was important. But I do say for a while, certain things from childhood on up can affect you. But what helped me along the way was continuously maintaining a healthy scriptural based study session. And I used to take the train sometimes to Harlem, because that's where my friend who is battling cancer right now used to live. And when was going to visit her, I would read my little Bible, a little teeny pocket Bible. And I would pray to Jehovah in my mind, like I've done when I was a child, when I was going through certain situations. And I would go to the park sometimes and sit in there and read the scriptures and talk to Jehovah. Sometimes I would get upset and I would have to apologize to God because I was blaming God for things that God had nothing to do with. You see, Jehovah graced us all in the dominant quality of love, the ability to continue to acquire far-sighted wisdom to help us throughout our lives, justice, and the ability to continue to foster that power beyond what is normal to get through anything. But Yahweh doesn't evidently, habitually, and healthily micromanage and force people to listen and force people to acquire and apply this priceless wisdoms. And unfortunately, there are many people who proved not to listen. They proved not to let it sink in their hearts. And there are times where people allow their traumas to leak over habitually onto somebody else. And unfortunately, it happens to children. So I'm so grateful to Jehovah that I chose to fight these things, because there were times when I was really depressed. And there were times where I felt like I questioned life, whether it was worth existing. But I continue to read the scriptures and understand and look into nature. This is why I went to the park sometimes and understand that the birds and the trees, they go through so many changes in seasons, and sometimes they have very little to eat, but they do the best they can and continue to persevere on. And they continue to bloom and look even more beautiful than they did the seasons before. And it was a lesson for me as I read the scriptures of how different people have gone through so many trying situations, but because they continue to walk by faith, they came out even stronger than they were before and were able to continue to walk by faith in a way that brought praises to the one who graced us with life in the first place. And it helped me to understand who Jehovah truly was. Jehovah truly is a Jah of justice. Everything that we're going through right now is human-induced. Human-induced as far as all the injustices, human-induced as far as all the pollution buildup that has caused the weather to be thrown off, human-induced as far as the selfishness and diseases getting out of control, human-induced as far as all this trash being built up in the ground and it erupts the equator. This is not Jehovah's fault. This is because of humans. And when you continue to read the inspired, preserved, and historical scriptures, your eyes are gradually likely going to be open and you're going to be able to understand this is not Jehovah's fault. Jehovah speaks to people, warns people, gives them so many signs, and there are people who just do not heed that. And they're selfishly, exert whatever they're not remaining honest about and continuously working on, they exert that towards someone else. And we end up being survivors or victims of careless, unchecked, unhinged inner demons, so to speak, that people are not really dealing with or haven't dealt with at all. So please don't blame Yahweh, Jehovah, or Jehovah's first creation, Yahshua, Jesus Christ. They do all they can to help us. Jehovah's a God of justice. Jesus is a king alongside Jehovah of justice. So it has nothing to do with Jehovah or Jesus. Continue to read your scriptures. Continue to walk by faith. This too shall pass. It has to. Jah is not one to lie or die. And I want you to know that you're not alone in your suffering. And I'm up here to let you know through continuous prayers, because this is a vulnerable state to let yourself kind of be transparent, to understand that we can continue to thrive and survive. We come from the greatest. We come from the best. We come from the most intelligent, the most wisest, the most greatest artist. And let us praise Jah through our healing, through our continuous enlightenment and application of that enlightenment, through our continuous rising. We can. Much love from Hopeful Uproar.